Okay, we are going to be working on an onboard air setup for my 4Runner here, and I wanted to do some video of it. This unit here will be the heart of the system. It's a ARB single air compressor and a 2.5 gallon Viair tank. Got some other stuff from Steve at Southeast Overland was kind enough to hook me up with a inflator kit and an inflator with a gauge. I'm still gonna have to come up with some fittings and some nylon line and that kind of stuff to make it all work, but we'll start moving along. First things first is figuring out where to mount this tank and how to go about doing it. So that's going to be the first step. So after doing a lot of looking around and trying to find a good place to mount this tank, the only place that I can find that I think it will be protected enough and up out of the way enough is kind of in this area right here, right behind the cross member and between this cross member here. I had toyed with the idea of trying to build some kind of cradle to run from frame rail to frame rail to do it, but honestly I think the best solution is just going to be to mount it to the floor there and call it good with that. That'll keep it tucked up nice and high and out of the way. So that is the plan, but we're gonna have to figure out a few things out, because that's going to mean completely removing my storage system in the back and that kind of stuff to get some holes put in place and some bolts put in place. But we'll work on that next. Okay, what I decided to do here is take some 1/2-inch bolts and just tack weld them to the tank here. It is such tight quarters in the location that I decided to put this that I can't get a wrench up in here to hold anything. So we just tack welded these bolts in place, and we're going to bolt it to the floor. Alrighty. As you can see from up here, this is not the most ideal situation with these bolts sticking through the floor, but with my storage system in place, I don't have a flat floor, in the cargo area anyway, so this shouldn't be a problem. I may take the cutoff wheel and cut a little bit off of these bolts. I don't want to get them too short, but we'll work around it a little bit. I may have to change my storage unit up a little bit, just a little bit, to clear this stuff. But you can see the tank mounted up there. It's above the frame rail, not by much, but by a little bit. I'm satisfied with the location. I may also have to do something a little bit different with my exhaust. You can see right there that the exhaust is running really close to the tank. I intend on just plugging those ports anyway, but I may have to go back to the exhaust shop and have them move the exhaust over just a tad to gain a little bit of clearance. But I'm pretty happy with how the tank install has went so far. Not my initial plan didn't work the way that I had hoped that it would, but I think this will. I think this is going to work. All right, moving along here. I picked up most of the fittings that I need, I think. Got to set this up for the inlet. This is set up for the outlet. I ended up plugging these two ports on this end and this port on this end as well as this one down here. One of these is going to have to be replaced with a pop-off when I get it, high pressure pop-off. When I get it picked up, that's one thing I forgot to grab, but it'll probably be one of these on this end, and I will have to go to the exhaust shop if you remember from trying to fit the tank that this end is awful close to the exhaust. But I'll get that figured out pretty soon. I had this piece of hose made to run from the compressor to the tank. These little compressors tend to run really hot, so I wanted to get a good line from the compressor to the tank. So I had this high pressure, high heat line made up, and the rest of the line will be just this nylon line using quick push together fittings like this one here. I also took a few minutes and put this little box together. I utilized a double switch box, just household electrical box, just to have a metal box, and made a cutout for the switch and a cutout for the air chuck. That way I've just got to mount this, and everything else will be mounted that way. Kind of cheesy using household stuff in a truck, but it worked for what I needed it for anyway. So we'll deal with that more in a little while. Okay, so this is basically where I plan on mounting the compressor and the little box I made for the switch and the air chuck and that sort of thing. It'll be on the driver's side rear corner of the 4Runner. The compressor is mounted to my storage unit, and the little box, I haven't figured out for sure exactly how I'm going to mount that yet, but this is going to be the basic setup of it anyway. Okay, folks. I've actually been living with this ARB single air compressor for a while now, and took me some time to get the video wrapped up here. I just recently decided to change up how I had it mounted. I had a storage box in the back of the 4Runner here for a long time, and I had it mounted to that box, and I just decided recently to change things up a little bit, so I had to make a new mount, but got that done, plumbed back in. Like I said, I've been living with it for a while now, and I have kind of mixed reviews or mixed feelings about it. It does work. I've aired up all 4 tires several times, and I knew it was going to be kind of a slow compressor, but little slower than what I would like for it to be. That said, it works, and gonna, it's installed and plumbed in and doing what it's supposed to do. In retrospect, if I had it to do over again, probably would not do the air tank. I don't think it gains anything, and it's just extra work that turns out to be relatively unnecessary, or doesn't benefit enough for the use of it. Anyway, if you're looking for a small air compressor, a small onboard air, I would recommend the ARB single. Just don't expect to get in a hurry with it, because it's not going to be fast. From
people that I've talked to, the ARB dual is a much better. It's also 100% duty cycle and that kind of stuff. Just a lot of advantages, but with those advantages, obviously, come a little bit bigger price tag. But anyway, this is my setup. Still, you can see some of my janky wiring there. I still got to tidy up the wiring a little bit, but for the most part, I'm going to call the project done. Like I said, relatively happy with it. Again, like I said, if you're looking for onboard air, definitely a good option.